Well, we've implemented everything that we need for the requirements of this version of RPS Project Tracker. All the functionality is there now. However, the theme we're currently using is the Kendo UI default theme, which looks very nice, but it doesn't match our existing theme, which is a Bootstrap theme. Kendo UI for Angular comes with a few different themes out of the box, and we can also build our own theme. So in this chapter, we're going to be looking at some styling options, including themes. We're going to check out a tool called the Theme Builder, and we'll also look at some icon options. Right now, all our Kendo UI components we've added are stylistically the same because they use the default theme. You can tell by the orange color of the buttons. For example, if I go here, you'll see the orange is the default theme, and the tabs, buttons, and dropdowns have a sharp edge. This looks great. However, we've decided to use Bootstrap, which is why much of our app already uses Bootstrap themes and styles, so we're going to change the theme of our Kendo UI components to match the Bootstrap theme. Let's head over to the Kendo UI for Angular site. Under Docs and Demos, scroll down to the Styling section. Here you'll find all the available themes. You can click on Styling and this will bring you to the Styling and Themes section in the documentation. You can explore the instructions here, but there's also another resource for themes with more detailed instructions, including installation steps, and you can find it in the main menu under UI UX Tools. It's called Design System Kit. Or you can just go to telerik.com/design system. Click on Getting Started, and you'll find resources for designers and developers, including themes, iconography, components, and customization. At the top of the page, you'll see the Themes link. Clicking there will give you an introduction to the available themes, along with the installation instructions. Our goal here is to use the Bootstrap theme, so we can do this by installing the Kendo Theme Bootstrap package. Let's copy the installation command, and let's take a quick look at our existing code. Open up the angular.json file, and under the Style section, you'll see that we're currently pointing to the Progress Kendo default theme. This is what we'll replace with the Bootstrap theme once it's installed. Now let's head out to the terminal and install the Bootstrap theme. I'll just paste the command, execute it, and once the installation is complete, go back to the angular.json file, replace the Kendo theme default with Kendo theme Bootstrap. After that, restart the server by running ngserve. Alright, let's take a look at the result. Once the application restarts, you'll notice some immediate changes. For example, the combo box now has rounded corners, which matches the Bootstrap theme. The buttons also have a Bootstrap style appearance when selected. On the backlog page, it's even more obvious that we're using Bootstrap theme here, as the pager at the bottom now has blue numbers. That's the default out-of-the-box color for Bootstrap, and the selection color is blue too, consistent with the Bootstrap style. If we go to the details form, you'll see that the tab strip is now themed to match Bootstrap. The rest of the components also match Bootstrap theme without losing any functionality. Let's check out the scheduler, and the scheduler component has also adopted the new styling, maintaining consistency of the theme across the application. So that's how easy it is to retheme the application. You can also experiment with the other available themes like Fluent or Material. The Material theme aligns with Google's material design concepts, which is useful if your application uses that style. But if the out-of-the-box themes aren't enough, in the next lesson we'll explore how you can create your own custom theme. We've seen how easy it is to apply one of the built-in themes to our application, like when we switched from the default theme to the Bootstrap theme. If there are any components you would like to preview in a different theme, you can go to the documentation site, pick the component you're interested in, for example the button, and you'll see a drop-down menu at the top of the previous screen that lets you change the theme. The themes available from the drop-down here include a sampling of the default theme just in different colors. There's the Bootstrap theme here as well, Material theme, and so on. And depending on your organization's requirements, you might need to create your own theme. If you have specific styles or colors you want to use, you can do that with the Theme Builder, a tool that's designed specifically for this. In fact, there's a course in this library dedicated to the Theme Builder if you want to learn more. But let's take a quick look at it. Using the same drop-down menu here, there's an option to launch the Theme Builder. When you click on that, it'll open the Theme Builder. You'll have to log in, of course. And when it opens up, you'll already see some projects in here if you have any. If you don't have any projects yet, you'll see a blank page with the Create New Project button. Click on that, and you just need to provide the name for your project. I'll call mine RPS. And then you can select the base theme. Pick something that's going to be very close to what your end goal is. Don't worry, you can customize pretty much everything here. I'm going to select the Kendo Bootstrap theme and then click Create. Once you're in, you'll see a preview page. On the right-hand side, you'll have a live preview of all the components. And on the left, you'll find all the styles that you can edit. For example, there is a setting for the primary color. If I change it to this purple shade, you'll see the live preview update, and everything that uses that primary color, like buttons and floating action button and other components, will reflect the change. Once you're done customizing your theme, you can go to the top and click Export All. This will download the zip archive containing your new theme. Once you unpack the archive, you'll find folders for CSS and Sass files in there. For now, we're going to be using the CSS file, which contains all the styles for your project, including the overrides you made. It's a full style sheet, so it's a bit on the large side. If you prefer, you can use the Sass files instead, which include only your overrides and might save you some space. Now I'm going to take the CSS file and copy it into the source folder of our project. I'll place it right next to the styles.scss file. Next, we'll make a small change in the angular.json file. Here, there's a section called styles. We've already seen this before. This is where I reference our Kendo UI theme. And styles.scss, this is our custom application styles. So right before the custom application styles, I'm going to add a reference to the new RPS CSS file that we just created. All right, at this point, you'll need to restart your application because the build process won't automatically pick up the new file. So I'll terminate the running process, restart the server, and then wait for the application to rebuild. Once it's done, you'll load your app and you'll see the changes. This will be more evident on the details page where you have a bunch of components that use that primary color. And now you'll see that purple shade appear on a few of these components. Not the best design, I admit, but I'm sure you and your team can do better if you spend a little bit more time on it. So that's how you apply a custom theme to your application. Kendo UI comes with a lot of built-in icons that you can use to add some extra graphics to your applications. You don't need to rely on third-party libraries like Font Awesome, although you can still use those if you want. But Kendo UI already ships with its own set of icons, and to explore them, you can go to the documentation, under Components, and find the Icons section. There are two types of icons, icon and SVG icon, with SVG icon being the more framework-agnostic, modern approach that's the current default. So we'll work with that. You can check the SVG icon list to see what's available. To use these icons, you first need to install the icons package, and the installation instructions are under the Installation Getting Started section. It's the same process that we've been following throughout this course using the Angular CLI. So I'll copy the command, head over to the terminal, terminate the running process, run the installation, and once that's done, I'll restart the Angular server. Now there's a couple of ways to use the icons, and the easiest way is with the Kendo SVG icon component. Let's say I want to add an edit icon to the details page right next to the title to indicate that we're editing the PT item. I'll open the code and go to Modules, Backlog, Pages, Detail, and Detail Page Component, and scroll to where the item title is defined. Right before that, I'll drop in our new Kendo SVG icon component. This one's bound to paperclip property, but as you'll find out in a moment, it doesn't really matter what the name is. We'll change this later anyway. At this point, the icon won't show up yet because Kendo SVG icon isn't a recognized element, so we need to fix that in the code. First, we'll import Kendo SVG icon from progress Kendo Angular icons and then add it to the imports in the component. Then we'll need to import the actual icon itself from progress Kendo SVG icons. When I start typing here, I can see the whole list of icons available. For now, I'll select the paperclip icon and set a local property called paperclip to this icon. And just like that, we have a little paperclip icon next to the title. This shows us that our icon is at least working now, and now I'm going to replace it with an edit icon so that it makes more sense for our current situation. So let's go back to the SVG icon list in the documentation and search for an edit icon. This one looks pretty good. I'll copy the name, and back in the code, I'll replace paperclip icon with edit tools icon. And I can also rename the local property to something more descriptive like edit icon. Don't forget to update the binding in the HTML template as well. And once that's done, the edit icon will show up in the app. It does look a bit small compared to the rest of the text, and SVG icons allow us to modify different properties, including its size. To adjust the size, we can use the size binding on the icon component. Let's try setting it to large. Well, that's still not big enough, so I'll go with XX large. That looks much better and fits the design nicely. Now there's another way to use icons. Let's head over to the dashboard page. We have some buttons here that could use a calendar icon to show that they're filtering by dates. And I want the icon to be inside the button. If you check the button component documentation, you'll find instructions for adding icons to buttons. This is under the icon button section. And the easiest way to do it is to use the SVG icon binding. I don't need to install anything else because we've already installed our SVG icons. So I'll add this binding to the buttons on our dashboard page. Let's open the dashboard page component and the code, and I'll first edit the HTML template. Let's find the buttons in the button group and add the SVG icon binding. I'll name it calendar icon and apply it to all three buttons. Let's head over to the code and I'll create a new property called calendar icon here. This will be shared among all the buttons that use the calendar icon. To find a suitable icon, I can do our import from progress Kendo SVG icon and then browse the list of available icons, or just take a guess and I'll search for calendar in this case. I see that calendar date icon and calendar icon are available, so I'll select calendar icon for now and I'll set the property to use it. When I check the app, the buttons have the calendar icon and they look great. Now if I wanted to explore further, I could search the SVG icons list for calendar related icons, and I see both calendar icon and calendar date icon here. The latter has a number in it, but for this use case, the plain calendar icon works just fine. So that's how you can apply icons in your applications.